Radhe Radhe. Welcome, dear friends, to another episode of the Rasikanand podcast. I'm recording from our San Francisco headquarters. Wherever you are, praying you are doing well. Your life is full of auspiciousness and beauty, happiness, grace. I offer you my obeisance, my pranam. Wherever you may be listening from or watching from, I offer pranam unto you, to God within your heart. Whether you are driving or sitting or resting or working, doing your chores, or on your way to school, coming back, going home with a loved one or alone, let us take this time now to offer prayer and to meditate on the absolute, the truth within us and within the soul of everything, the soul of the universe. Let us breathe in together and exhale. Om. One more time, breathe in. Om. And let us come together to a state of inner peace and calm amidst the turmoil of life and stress, anxiety, hopes and aspirations, dreams and waking, nightmares. How can we navigate through whatever situation we may be facing in life? How can we navigate that with grace, with poise, and with strength? I hope you're all well. I know that life is difficult. We all have different worries and struggles we are going through, especially this current time. Whether you are going through something difficult or you know someone, a dear friend or a loved one, a family member, I'm praying that you are well or that you will be well. And I feel very honored and fortunate to be here with you now in this moment. I only hope to be like a friend along your journey, speaking words of encouragement to you. Whether you're a new mother or father, or embarking on a new career, or enmeshed in the difficulties of whatever circumstances you are in, my service is to encourage you, to give you hope. I've seen this in my own life, that storms do not last forever, nor the sunny days and the rainbows. Life is full of ups and downs, valleys and hills, and mountains. So this podcast covers a wide range of topics. I'll be doing sit-down interviews, conversations, public addresses, as I will do tonight in the next episode. But my favorite time to be with you all is like this, where I can speak to you in the comfort of your own home, where I'm not speaking to many and then speaking to you, but speaking to you directly. Sharing this like a message in a bottle cast out to sea. whatever question you may have, whether it's related to the topic I'm speaking on, or it's something you're curious about in spiritual life, or some difficulty you're facing that you would like, if not to take advice, I'm not here to advise, but to have some solace or friendship, to know that you don't have to do it all on your own. So you can ask anonymously to our comment section or in an email to my team, and I'll address those in upcoming episodes. In the future, occasionally we'll be able to go live, and I also will have a membership group for students where we'll have weekly interactions, and so you'll be able to develop more of a community spirit. We are a non-sectarian community of spiritually minded seekers, practitioners, not bound by the chains of dogma, but liberated in the freedom of the spirit and its expression of love. So we will talk about many different issues of the day, what we are facing, questions that you may ask or others may ask. And I'll cover different courses of different topics related to spirituality and life, death, the beyond, God, faith, disbelief. It's my understanding that life is eternal, as we hear from Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall we ever cease to be. So we are eternal beings, spiritual beings. Our nature is to taste bliss, to seek after ecstatic experience. So really death is just a turning of a page. But how can we go from temporary states of suffering to ever abiding blissful experience? So this is the general theme of this course of study together. As I mentioned in the first episode, for me, I'm inspired by the words of Sri Radha spoken to Sri Krishna in disguise, when he asked her why does she love him despite all that she has gone through and all that she's experienced, and how he is, or speaking about Krishna, how he has neglected her or not been faithful. And she exclaimed that the spirit of the lover who has love awakened in their heart is that one only wants to please the beloved, give happiness to the beloved. When the beloved is pleased, the lover naturally is ecstatic. The lover is neither concerned, attached, nor averse to her own happiness, but naturally in the expression and experience of love in newer and newer ways, one's own bliss rises wave after wave, higher and higher. The dance of divine love. So Sri Radha said to Krishna that love is like a lion that devours all obstacles in its path and is nourished by them, like a lion eats elephants and is nourished by that. Love is like a lamp that shines most brightly in the darkest hour. It burns with the power of the sun and cools with the nectar of the moon. That is love. So we're offering ourselves to that eternal guide, the love of Sri Radha, and praying that we can offer ourselves as pure soul to the Supreme Soul, to our source, the all-attractive, beloved Sri Krishna, and enter into the service of the divine couple Sri Radha and Sri Krishna, eternally inseparable halves of the divine spirit. The last episode I began telling you my story of meeting my guru, Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, who my life has been shaped by, and my every waking moment I'm endeavoring to offer into his transcendental service to his divine grace. He himself is eternally in the service of Sri Radha to Sri Krishna, and specifically in the mood of one-pointed shelter and service to Sri Radha. He established a very profound philosophy of the Vaishnava Bhakti tradition based on Vedanta, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Puran, Bhagavad Gita. He went on 32 world tours after he'd already been a sannyasi, preacher, and servant in his own guru's mission for 50 plus years. Then from 1996 to 2010, he traveled the world on 32 world tours. And while going on these world tours and also teaching in India, he initiated over 100,000 disciples and followers into this path of Braj Bhakti, which means natural, loving devotion and relationship with the absolute truth in their ultimate features, Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. The absolute truth is non-dual, but two eternal halves of this one supreme whole, Sri Radha and Sri Krishna, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So this is whom we offer our heart and soul to serve that transcendental entity, the Supreme Personalities, Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. When I met my guru, I was just a young boy, 9 years old. I was very fortunate that from childhood I grew up in a Vaishnava community where my parents supported me in spiritual life and encouraged me forward. And I was very protected and sheltered in the sense that I went to school. We had a private school that my own Gurudev established, and I grew up and studied there. So I was lucky that from young age I never had the opportunity to develop some of the habits that we see plaguing the youth today and really in every age. At 9 I received mantra initiation and Maha Mantra, and at 10 in the Gayatri mantras. And from that time my Gurudev asked me to be a monk and serve his mission, and this was a very interesting request for a young boy. It's common for adults to ask kids, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And monk wasn't on my list. So I'm going to tell you a little bit today how I came to be a monk, rather than an athlete or a writer or a firefighter. So every year I would go to India for our annual pilgrimage in the month of Kartik in the fall, October, November season. And every summer in June, our Gurudev would come to our village, small village in the foothills of the Sierra Nevadas. We had about only 300 people living in that direct town of Badger. And about half of them were Hare Krishna Bhakti yogis. And we'd always wait for Gurudev to come the whole year. Sometimes I was lucky, I would go with my father, we'd go to Hawaii or Florida or Houston when my Guruji would go there. But the heart and soul of his tour was always New Braj. It was a 1-week transcendental festival. During those festivals, it was like you're transported to a different world. You're no longer involved in this mundane life of waking up and consuming different types of entertainment about the temporary worlds and illusions, and working. And for 1 week, you're in Vrindavan. For 1 week. You were with Radha Krishna, you were with Guruji, and all his associates transported to the spiritual world. After every class, we'd have 2-3 hours of ecstatic dance, not something for sense gratification, something that was the natural eruption of the soul in joyful expression of devotion and love. Our Gurudev traveled with some of the best Kirtaniyas in the Vaishnav world. And the Kirtan was uproarious, not just sitting and peacefully meditating and praying, but that prayer as it rose higher and higher, as the heart offers itself in love, and that love builds and rises like a rising tide until it overflows the banks and floods the land, and everyone would get up and sing and dance, and people would be having dinner after the evening programs, but the dance would continue till 8, 9, 10, 10:30, 11, and even after the program, after the pavilion would be clean, people would do Kirtan chants, sometimes all night. In the morning, we would go with Guruji on morning walks, and 50, 100 people would have the chance to walk with him for an hour while he was chanting this Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and we would walk. We walked on Cemetery Road. We would drive very peaceful, quiet back town, and we'd go on the roads, and there was cowherd pastures, and we would walk along before dawn. Why? This is the time where Sri Radha and Sri Krishna are returning to their homes from the forest grove. As every day, Guruji would wake and offer them arati, which means an offering of love, the love of the heart expressed through the flame of the lamp, offering to the beloveds, Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. And then after this morning Mangala Arati before dawn, he would go out and walk in his internal absorption of walking with Sri Radha back to her home. And then as she prepares and bathes and is dressed, then she walks back from her home to Krishna's home, where she goes to prepare his morning meal with her friends. So our Guruji would go on these morning walks, and we'd have a chance. I remember the crisp morning air, fresh. I was like a dwarf looking up at giants, my Gurudev, and so many sannyasis, senior disciples of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and so many of my elders and seniors, and I can almost see the morning mist coming over the fields and the cows watching, and my Gurudev calling the cows and chanting to them, and sitting on a bench and speaking, or asking questions, or answering questions, sometimes asking, sometimes answering. It's these moments that I can always go back into in meditation, I remember one time on a morning walk in Houston, actually, he was surrounded by 15, 20 sannyasis and around 100 of his followers. And he was asking them a very special question. He said, what is the highest kind of love? The love that is capable of controlling the Supreme Lord Krishna. What are the different levels of this love? Samanjasa sadharani samartarati. Very technical question. Not to get into the details here now. But he wasn't satisfied with the answers of his senior sannyasi followers. And he looked down at me at that time, just a young boy, and he said, tell me, what do you know? What is the answer? I was very shy in front of everyone. And I stumbled over a few words, and he said, with a big smile and a pat on the shoulder, yes, you may not know now, but you will know soon. So spiritual life is sometimes like that. Guru, God, Krishna, they see our true position. We see our present condition. They see our true position. And they lovingly encourage us to advance, to grow with the love of millions of mothers and fathers. They nurture us, they protect us, they give us love and affection. And in this way they help us come up to our true potential. We have so much more in store for us than we can ever know. When you're bound by material life and you think, this is life. This is life. We are walking bodies filled with so many different blood, pus, and bile, and all these different ingredients that are making up the body. But inside the body, what is that force? The animating substance, the anima, the soul. It gives us life. What is the nature of that soul? So Guru is awakening that. Atma Jagaran, Sanskrit, it means to awake. To wake. Uttishtata Jagrata, wake up. Prapta Varona Bodhita, achieve the highest thing. Shrasya spiritual life, is like a razor's edge. Nishitang Durataya, therefore, you need some guide to help you navigate the road of life. So I was very lucky to have the affection of my Guruji in my youth, in my childhood. It was very interesting for me. I remember him looking down because he was quite tall and I was a small kid, and he would look down at me and say, I want you to be a monk. Serve my mission. It's taken me many years to meditate on that. What is his mission? There are many missions, many kinds of mission. There's the internal mission, the external mission, but really there's only one mission. How can we develop our true love and relationship with the divine? How can we walk, not in this world, how can we walk with God and love with God, serving God? And beyond God, the highest aspect of the divinity, not God alone, Shri Radha and Shri Krishna, and serve them, walk with them, be with them. That is our mission. That is our Guruji's mission. He wants us to be there with him. So he's looking, where are those souls who are inclined towards that relationship? And so in a general way, he's preaching for everyone. He's teaching spiritual values that can help your life be very auspicious. Everyone has a different inclination, a different nature in the soul, like the blueprint of your constitutional nature, your highest perfectional attainment of love and bliss and relationship. But each soul is unique and it varies, but Guru sees your highest self and he's awakening that highest self, taking you from darkness to light. That is Guru. From dark to light, Ajnana Timirandasya. From the darkness of ignorance to the illumination of the self and a relationship with the Absolute. That is Guru. He sees you in your perfected state. That is the highest level of devotee, Uttam. But he comes down to be able to discriminate and see, oh, you are here now, but I see you there. I see your highest. I see the seed, and I see the blueprints in your nature, and that seed, and how it's going to be a beautiful tree filled with many fruits of love, and how you can relate with Sri Krishna and offer that expression of your love and that dance of divine love. So Guru is seeing that, and then he's seeing you, and he's saying, oh, dear child, child of nectar, you are born to taste nectar. Why are you suffering in this world? Dear child, wake up, please. I will show you that realm you cannot imagine. You think you know happiness, and you think you know sorrow. You don't understand what is true happiness, what is true love. Happiness in this world is like a shadow. We think we know happiness. The happiness we know is not real happiness. It's like if you're in a dark cave, shielded from any sunlight, but a little bit of light is able to creep in and make it so it's not completely pitch black, and you think that is happiness. Walk in the sunlight, bathe in the sunlight, then you can know happiness. What is the potential of the soul? It said the soul is more powerful than millions of suns, and yet it is asleep. Its power is now sleeping. So therefore Shri Radha says that love is the force that can awaken your true soul, the discovery of your true nature, so that you can walk with Sri Krishna and Shri Radha in their loving service.